Hello everyone, welcome back to the Colour Mirrors Bookshop. My name's Karani and I would like to thank those who tried to show up for my live reading yesterday on Facebook, which didn't go particularly well, basically because our internet signal is just not up for the job at this point. So apologies and thank you for your patience. And so I thought I would just re-record the talk today for you so that you can actually see what I intended to say and get all the reading that I intended to offer you, which I didn't manage to get yesterday because of the technical glitches. So here we are again, and what I'm going to be doing today is reading to you from my first book, which is called The Language of Light. And I'm also intending to read you a short excerpt from the new book that Melissa Jolly and I are creating together, called The Wisdom of Colour Mirrors. So look forward to sharing those snippets from the books with you. What I'm also going to be doing is talking to you about a concept that's very dear to my heart, a topic that I love, and it's called impeccability. And it's basically the name of one of the bottles in the Colour Mirrors system. It is this bottle, G10, which is pale gold over pale blue lilac. Doing my best to wear the colours of the bottle today, and it makes up part of the Golden Gaia set, which you can see behind me there on the shelf. The 7 Golden Gaia bottles that were created way back now at the beginning of 2009, so 9 years ago, at a time when those of us who were on a spiritual path were really poised on the brink of something huge. We all knew about the changes that were predicted to happen at the end of 2012, and we'd been waiting with bated breath for those changes. And in 2009 it still felt a long way off, and yet it also felt imminent. And up until that point in the system, in the Colour Mirrors system, there had been 8 Gaia bottles. All of those were copper, apart from one which was black. And they really were about the story of humanity thus far on the earth, and each person's journey here and the earth's journey herself, very much focusing on third dimensional reality and how to make it here, how to be okay about being on this dense third dimensional planet. When the Golden Gaias announced themselves to Melissa at the beginning of 2009, we knew that there was something very profound and powerful about to happen, because nothing like this had happened before in the system. There hadn't been a sudden download of a whole new set, basically 7 bottles coming through all at once, and certainly not in this way and not in these colours. And what happened was that I was already on my way to go and see Melissa when she had the inspiration for these 7 new Golden Gaia bottles. And so, lucky me, I got to spend a week with her in South Africa, where together we explored what was to become the Golden Gaia set, and we spent time with each of the 7 of them, exploring them, meditating with them, connecting with them, and really just gazing at them because they were so incredibly beautiful. And what we came to realize was that they were about ushering in a new golden age on the planet, which is of course what all the predictions of 2012 were about as well. And so we were hugely excited and delighted and overjoyed to be welcoming these incredible new energies. And what happened was that I began to make notes as Melissa and I chatted. And within a day or two, those notes started forming themselves into a book, which was unexpected, but again, wonderful. And as I wrote the book, I was aware of extraordinary stream of energy flowing through me, and incredible light, incredible beauty, incredible grace being offered to me as I wrote and through me as I wrote. And so the writing of this book, The Language of Light, has been to date one of the most extraordinary experiences of my life, and certainly changed things for me in a big way, because I began to live very specifically the keys that it offered. So the book is about living in a new reality. It's about a new paradigm. It's about living from our heart. It's about living from peace, living from joy, living from love, and really opening to what is available to us as we shift our frequency and our vibration, as we enter this process that some call Ascension. And So when I got back to England after visiting Melissa for that week, I began to write the book, and in tandem with that, I was offering a weekly course to a group of wonderful, wonderful friends and students who came and explored these 7 keys with me. And literally I was writing the book, writing a chapter of the book and then delivering it the following week at the class. So it was very real time and really literally living what I was writing. So I would spend a week with each of these 7 bottles that you can see here. Again, spending time with them, connecting with them, bathing in them, meditating with them, exploring their concepts, their keys, their information, and then writing about them. And the result is the book, The Language of Light, Golden Keys to Ascension. And so today I'm going to read to you a little bit about impeccability, which is the second of the Golden Gaias, G10. But before I do that, I'd like to just talk a little bit about impeccability, because it is not a word that we use very often in our daily lives, is it? In fact, if you were to talk about someone or something being impeccable, we might almost hold that up as a standard that's almost impossible to reach. Impeccable makes it sound like a perfection so far-fetched that none of us could actually ever get there. But in truth, that's not what this is about. Impeccability actually comes, or the way we're using the word impeccability, comes from the teachings of a beautiful shaman by the name of Don Miguel Ruiz, who wrote a book called The 4 Agreements. And at the time that these Golden Gaias came through, I was reading the 4 Agreements. And he talked about being impeccable with your word. And what he said that impeccability meant was to be absolutely innocent, to be absolutely connected with the essence of ourselves in such a way that we were totally and utterly for ourselves. So I just want you to feel into that for a moment. What would that mean to you to actually be totally and utterly for yourself? To back yourself, to support yourself, to honor and love and accept yourself fully in every way. And then to extrapolate that out into your life so that you can then be impeccable with your words, so that your words are always for life. Your words are for love rather than against. So impeccability is a key, really, a key to opening our hearts, opening our lives to a very clear and simple way of living and being. Because essentially what it means is to be in integrity. And when we're in integrity, when we're in alignment with our higher self, with our essence self, with our divine self, then what we do, what we say, what we communicate to others is filled with that energy of integrity and alignment and connection with the divine. It's not coming from that place of ego. It's not coming from that place of smallness or pettiness or meanness or wanting to be better than another. It's absolutely about our sense of unity and connection with each other. And so becoming impeccable, or learning about impeccability, or experiencing what it is to be impeccable, really creates an incredible depth of light within our lives, of feeling connected, of simplicity and of inspiration. So I spent a week with impeccability, and what I wrote about that was this. I'm going to read to you from the book. My days with impeccability are soft, still, gentle. I sit with questions. What is impeccability? What does it mean for me to be impeccable? I discover that it means simply to listen. Impeccability means that I listen to and align with my essential divine self. Impeccability, the bottle and the choice, gives me simplicity. It is high and light. It is pure, free and unencumbered. The silence of these colors keeps drawing me in and reminding me how powerful it is to sit, to be still. I may only manage it fleetingly at times, but if I stop, even for a moment, a space opens up for new inspiration to flow in. I feel myself coming back to stillness and silence, even when much is going on around me. The ever-present silence lies beneath the activity, the doing, the thoughts and actions of a day. It holds out to me a light that I can choose to ignore, but when I take my focus there, even for a second, it quietens me, eases my mind, stills me, and holds me gently in the moment. I notice where I am being impeccable with myself and where I am not. I become aware of words I use that are not in integrity, actions I take that do not align with my knowing of who I am, thoughts that threaten to take me off on useless side roads. I also notice where I hold true to my essence, where I listen to the impeccable call of my inner being, and where I allow myself the glory of following the trail my soul is laying out for me. So, what happens when we are in impeccability is that we can be with whatever is. So we can be with our emotions and our feelings, whatever they are, and we can love them. We can be with our flaws and our imperfections and love them. We can also learn to love and receive and accept our greatness and our brilliance. And as I mentioned in the passage that I just read to you, there's also this incredible quality with impeccability of stillness and of silence and of taking time just to be, of taking time to be in that receptive, feminine, open, allowing space, which we so often don't in our busy lives. And what happens when we give ourselves that time and that space just to be and to be still and to be quiet and to go within, is that we're then so much more open to the voice of the divine. We're so much more open when the universe has things to say to us, has things to share with us, to show us. We're so much more attuned and aligned and aware of the path to take. The path appears before us. It becomes simple. This is one of the things I probably repeat over and over about impeccability, but it really is about simplicity. So if you are looking to simplify your life and to step back into a feeling of lightness and rightness, which is for me what impeccability is, when I'm being impeccable with myself, when I'm being really true to who I am and true to my energy flows and true to my essence, then life is just a beautiful ride. It's not always easy and it's not always fun and positive. There are still challenges, but even when they arise, if I'm in impeccability, there's just an easy energy and a flow about allowing those challenges to pass through and to move beyond them with grace, which is of course another of the Golden Gaia bottles. So what else do I want to say to you about impeccability? That's probably it, I think. What I'll do is just read to you another short passage from the Language of Light, and then I'm going to just move on to the Wisdom of Colour Mirrors. So just turn to another passage here in the Impeccability chapter. There's a whole chapter on impeccability in the Language of Light. So if you want to find out more, obviously you can get a copy of the book on my website, which is karani.net. So, inspiration is a clear channel to the light and sound of the divine without ego or will, memory or story clouding the connection. It is our openness and readiness to see the divine, behold the divine, hear the divine, be the divine. Life lived from inspiration is the passport to freedom. As inspiration rings, the bell of action calls to us, and we effortlessly take the step that is there before us. Our actions spring forth from the stillness in a natural birthing of divine energy. Rivulets of light issue from our being. We know and we see, we understand, and we trust. We release the need for complexity and confusion as it draws us into the ease of integrity and alignment. We discover that impeccability is not something to be gained or sought after, but that it is ever present and already within us. In impeccability, we release the perceptions and the memories that have stopped us from recognizing our innocence and turn instead to the fullness of our inner given grace. So if you would like to find out more about the Golden Gaias, obviously there's the book, which is entirely about the Golden Gaias and what they have to share with us. And they have a lot to share with us. In the book, there are meditations, there are exercises which you can explore. There are harmonics, which are, as someone once described, poetic prose passages, which are filled with this energy that was flowing through me as I was writing the book. And there's obviously explorations of each of these 7 golden keys, and each one builds on the next. So the 7 golden keys do take you on a very specific and particular pathway and journey to raising your frequency, raising your vibration, and really just bringing you into a much more enlightened space within yourself and in your life. So the course that I ran all those years ago, the Golden Keys to Ascension course, in conjunction with the book, is now available as an audio program on my website. And basically, again, it takes you through each of these 7 steps, 7 keys, and you can take it from wherever you are at home, because you can download it onto your computer or your devices, and you can follow it at your own pace. When we did the course, we took a week with each key. So people would take the bottle home with them. They would bath in it or use it up over the week. They would read the chapter from the book. They would be given exercises and meditations to do, many of which are in the book, but some of which are just specific to the program. And then there were additional things in the program as well that are not included in the book. So it's a very comprehensive program. And I think by the time you've gone through it in your own timing, you don't have to take it a week at a time. You can do it more quickly or more slowly. You will feel very, very different at the end. You will find that you are living from a very different place, and hopefully a much clearer, simpler, lighter, freer space. So now, just briefly before I finish, I would like to read to you a short passage from The Wisdom of Colour Mirrors, the new book that Melissy and I are creating together, because obviously that book covers all the bottles in the Colour Mirrors system, all the oil bottles anyway. We're just going to do a small bit about the essences, but the oils will all be explored in depth. And so G10, Impeccability, is in there. And so I deliberately didn't come back to the language of light as I was writing for the new book. I didn't go back and read the chapter. I didn't even look at the words that we had created for this bottle. I just literally tuned in with it to see what it would have to share with me now, 9 years on. And so this is the beginning of that exploration. Bottle G10 is like pale glimmers of sunshine on a peaceful lake, early morning on a beach, before the sun becomes fully bright on the water. That time of stillness and quiet, when anything seems possible. Its softness and freshness speaks of the hope of a new day, a new dispensation where all the shadows that have hidden in the darkness can dissolve and the truth can be brought to light. Impeccability shows up what is false and illusory and radiates such peaceful, loving acceptance that we are no longer afraid of our flaws and our weaknesses. This bottle shows them as simply another aspect of ourselves, calling for love. There is nothing here to fear. This bottle is not swayed by our stories or our fabrications. It sees through them all to the heart of us and stays true to its course and steady, unwavering in its total commitment to showing us our true self. If we let it, Bottle G10 will mirror back to us everything we have been hiding about ourselves, our pettiness and our greatness, our hidden agendas and our hidden brilliance. This bottle is about looking at ourselves in the mirror and not looking away until we are willing to see the truth about ourselves. It is unflinching in its honesty and asks us to be so too. It holds absolutely no judgment and invites us to accept this total loving non-judgment. It asks us to be impeccable, yes, but not so that we meet others' standards or conform to some hypothetical ideal of perfection. Rather, it invites us to be absolutely impeccable with and for ourselves. So what does that actually mean for our lives? And I'll leave you there with that, and you can explore that in your own time. And obviously when the book is finished and produced, you'll be able to read more about what Melissa and I discovered that impeccability is. So I hope that you've enjoyed this session today, and I thank you very much for joining me, and I wish you all well. Bye-bye.